All right, we're live. We're on the air. Yay! Welcome back to the Regulators for another week, folks. Dave here, aka the Gypsy, and we got a full house today. Eamon Johns coming to us live from the BBC Broadcasting Centre. Nice, he's stepped it up on us here, folks. Look at that. How's it going, Eamon? Looking good there, man.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Shouldn't you have like a suit jacket and a tie on, though? Really, you know.
Well, not today, no. Otherwise the BBC sue me.
And of course, Terry Van Horn, SEO Dojo, SEO Pros elsewhere. How's it going today, Terry?
Good, good.
Living the dream, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. And of course, Steve Garrett's here, Steam Driven Media. How's it going? And avid Pigeon fanatic.
Pigeon fanatic, yes.
Yes. All right, boys. I guess right, just to get it out of the way, we've got the new. Oh, thank you, search engine land, marketing land. We've got the new Showcase app, which apparently we've installed, and we're not so sure if we're going to be using it yet. On Terry's advice here. Eamon, you guys were using this yesterday, and Steve.
Well,
you
we didn't mean to.
Oh no, no. Wow.
We didn't know how it got in there, really.
So yeah,
if you want to put in links that people can click and drive people to stuff, it's great. If you're selling something or you want people to go to certain resources through the Hangout, it's a brilliant way of doing it. So it's really great for turning your Hangout into something shoppable.
Yeah, you know, and even in our case, we're going over various news stories like this one every day. So you know what I mean. We could drop the links, and I guess so people can actually access it while we're talking about it. Steve, you were saying though about the one you were in yesterday or watching yesterday, that it was causing lag and stuff, though? Or not? Steve, he's asleep. What is Steve awake?
He's frozen up.
Oh, Steve says, I think Steve's frozen up, man, because I haven't seen him move in a while. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Oh. Did you get any feedback on it, Eamon? As far as like
everyone hated it, but that's partly because they weren't expecting it, and we weren't expecting it. And
okay.
It just seemed to be a bug on it. So.
Yeah, well, Steve was saying it seemed to cause some lag and stuff. That it was lagging the production a bit.
It might have been. That certainly there were more complaints about the stream than usual. So maybe because it's having to download it and grab the extra information. I don't know. Could be polling Google quite a bit.
Well, Terry, as you were saying, anything new with Google Hangouts tends to never work the first time.
Yeah, it usually takes a couple of days for it to be going at top. Yeah, Steve just dropped something in Skype, so it looks like dropped.
I don't know what's going on over there. He seems to be having issues. Okay, well. What the hell then? So yeah, it's probably a work in progress, and we'll probably lay off it, folks. I did turn it on, but we decided before the show we're not going to touch it. We're just going to leave that for a little while. See how it works out in the end. Oh, and what do you got there? Oh, okay, yes, please. The folks would love to know about your setup, Eamon.
Watch yesterday's Susie chat. Everything in there. That'll.
Oh, is it? Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now that background looks like some of the free footage places I go to. Is that where you got that? So yeah, that's one of those.
It's stock footage.
Yeah, I've seen it. I know the place actually. I think where you got that. So
there's about 5 that have the same files. I found the cheapest one. One of them was asking sort of 80 quid a single file.
You can find cheap ones for like $10, $5.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that is kind of neat, so we'll have to send everyone back to the show from yesterday so they can check that out. And speaking of shows, I guess, before we get rolling here, let me go dig something else up, folks. Tomorrow, I guess, 3 o'clock, Eamon, is that the plan, I believe? It will be,
the Hangout then, yeah. Should be good.
I'll just pull that up real quick for the folks.
Stone Simple's Digital Marketing Excellence Show tomorrow with yourself, Bill, and me.
And of
Jordan,
course,
Eric,
Mark and Derek. Yes. All right. So there you go, folks. We'll throw that on the show page as well. And we're, I guess, talking sort of Panda, maybe. Yes. I
Yeah,
think
Bill was looking at one of the patents that went into it and how Google can algorithmically look at quality on a page, and this is an exploration of that. How does a machine determine quality?
Yeah. I think it should be interesting. Again, I've been it's funny, I guess, because of the May 19th thing, but almost everything, all the forensic work I've been doing lately is Panda related. I spent some time going through every square inch of that Google Raters doc, and there's so much of that is pretty much about page quality and things of that level right there. You know what I mean? It seems kind of geared towards that almost exclusively at this point.
You can almost see where the Raiders are feeding stuff to the machine learning and vice versa.
Yeah,
So,
I would agree totally with that, dude.
And the machine learning feeds, then they check what the machine learning did, and they're getting it down pretty good. I still think most of what I read about Panda is semi-accurate. It's not what I've found in my experience.
Well, I still see nobody talk about the ads about the fold and stuff like that. You rarely see that, man.
The thing is, the big problem there is everybody is fixated on the fucking ads, and it really is a very small part of it. If you don't have the ads directly in the content, you're probably not going to have a problem if you have 4 ads above the fold. That's my opinion. As soon as you put even one link that's an ad in the content, you're fucking done like dinner. Fucking put a fork in it, it's done.
Yeah, the Dojo chat on Friday, dude, I will probably get into that some too because we're getting into the Raiders guide, but yeah, some places like Answers.com and others have taken a pretty big beating since the 19th, and sure enough, they've got those crappy ads right, mixed in with right above the fold, and it's an issue. But yeah, interestingly enough, actually, Terry, that goes to your point that you're making is that one of the sites that I know of that got a small Panda hit, meaning very small, like maybe 10% as opposed to like 50% loss, all they had was the ads above the fold. So obviously there's other elements playing into the larger hits that people are getting as far as duplication and tag issues and things of that nature. So I'd agree.
I think it works like from day one of Panda Days. We said it was basically a quality score that works very similar to the way that ad works with their quality score, i.e. the more things you do wrong, the higher your Panda score is going to be, and the worse you're going to get.
Well, yeah, and when you were going through that Google Raters doc, it's constantly page quality, site quality. It's always that term.
They don't talk about anything about the fold. They talk about main content. And guess what? That ain't fucking pictures. That ain't sliders. That's none of the fucking crap that people think gotta be about the fold. Here's what I'd like people to actually test. Instead of assuming that because all the links that get clicked on the home page are this fucking slider, try some other methods and actually do some split testing. I think you'll find that the sliders aren't as effective as you think.
I think you're also assuming that a lot of us haven't done that.
Pardon me?
You're also assuming that a lot of us have not done that. Because we have done that. And some sites it makes some sites it doesn't.
See, I didn't say that you were doing that, but most of the people that I talk to are assuming because all these clicks are coming off of links that they have there that that's what it is. Okay, that's all I'm saying. It wasn't actual, it was assumed, not, I'm sure you tested it, right? I didn't mean you or, I'm just saying that most of the people that I talk to and ask, they haven't actually tried something different. That's my point. But, I don't know. Fuck.
All right. Yeah, well, obviously we'll be getting into that tomorrow and Friday. Frank Watson is saying that the showcase is shown as default. Yeah, sorry about that, Frank. I turned it on because we were going to play with it, but then it kind of went, maybe not. So apparently he's saying the Q&A is a little hard to find, so you might have to dig around to find the Q&A, folks. But don't worry, Ammon's here to save the day, and we're tracking comments this week. So we're getting into the modern age here, us old people. All right, well, where to? I guess the best place would be to start with the Pigeon. Sorry, as Steve, you brought up the Pigeon. I assume this is the now de facto name for the local update that started, I guess, late last week or something like that.
Apparently. No, it's just been, obviously we had to talk about it a little bit. There's been a fairly major change in a lot of local search, and it has definitely affected some of the SERPs that I watch, and not in a good way. I'm looking at one SERP in particular where 5 out of 10 listings are directories for a company that doesn't even have a website.
Right. Is it okay to bring that up? Bring
Sure.
that screen.
It's a very specific search.
But yeah, it does highlight the point nicely.
It's like their default Facebook business page was on there. Well, there it is, right there.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. The very first listing is Facebook.
And it's not even a page he set up. It's the default one that Facebook set up for him.
Oh,
There's no pictures or anything there. But if you scroll down, you'll see things like MapQuest.
Yeah. You and I were talking last night. Yeah,
It's insane.
there it is. Here at number 8, MapQuest. I was like, what is this, 2009 again? Wow, MapQuest. I didn't know they're still around.
Below that's U.S. places. I mean, really? But at one point, this particular jewelry store had, I think, 11 of the top 20 listings on the first 2 pages. And he doesn't even have a website.
Really?
It's just, it's hysterical. And
Does he have a Google Places page or?
No.
No.
Not one that he set up. He doesn't. He doesn't view the internet.
Yeah.
The interesting thing would be to check out what's going on with maps with it, because the update affected both local and maps. So if you're not seeing anything in local search that could be explaining this, have a good look in maps, and it could be that he's just gained a whole bunch of reviews.
Yeah, I've been hearing Yelp is very dominant in a lot of these the changes since they came out.
But you'll look like right there. You're seeing what Sword Jewelers has 2 listings. It's very domain heavy. It's just a strange.
Van Horn Jewelers is there, Terry. Didn't know you were in the business.
There you go.
Nice. Yeah, I was also talking to Andrew Shotland a bit last night, and he was showing me some odd SERPs too. There was like 3 or 4 Yelp listings and things like that. Bill Slosky said he hates the Pigeon name and sent Danny Sullivan a tweet asking if we could change it. I don't like pigeons. Can we?
Yeah, well,
change it?
Pigeon was
We've already
actually
done Pigeon.
April Fool's joke that Google.
You're right. Right.
Pigeon ranked.
That's right. Pigeon ring.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and where did this pigeon thing come from, anyways? Who started the whole pigeon thing?
Search engine land. It's another fucking stupid.
Oh. Okay.
He
I think
should
they said
stop
because it's
naming. Saying
Yeah, I don't know how.
ads. That's another name that actually is probably the root of why there's so much misinformation about that particular algo.
So let's see.
Lots of clicks. Got lots of clicks though, and that's what matters, folks.
Our man Darren was saying that Darren Shaw was doing a little bit of homework, and he said he saw a 23% drop in local packs.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't do a lot of local.
Was that 7-3, or the local pack gone altogether?
People are moving fluctuation results. I'm trying to figure out what he got here.
the other thing that's interesting,
I think they're just disappearing. He doesn't make any mention of
I think it's the
773.
I think it's the percentage of local searches in which it's disappeared altogether.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so in other words, it's missing altogether. That's a big piece. I'd also say that what I saw in a couple of cases is where the local was usually always above the fold. The local pack was usually part of it, at least above the fold. Now I've seen a couple instances where it's actually below the fold, which, again, I think there's kind of still a building of SERPs, very similar to what was going on with universal search.
Right, we used to see stuff come in early and then slowly work its way down and settle somewhere else on the page.
Well, I think what it is they gave local a good shot and saw that it's not providing the results. I can tell you that from my experience with it, everybody goes to that useless Google Plus page and then are gone. So for me, the quicker they get rid of these packs, the better it'll be. It will improve the search. That's my personal opinion. Of course, the guy in local won't care for that too much, because they'd actually have to work a little harder at what they're doing.
Well, right now it certainly hasn't improved the SERPs. What we're seeing now is a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. Yeah, I like I said, I spent some time with Andrew Shotland yesterday too, and he was showing me a bunch of stuff, and I was like, not impressed.
Yeah, but it was a mess before. I mean, fuck it, it's been screwed for a long time.
Yeah, but this particular example that we were just looking at with the jewelers, that is a mess, a bad mess.
Oh yeah. How about in Toronto, where there's literally probably 30 virtual office places, but when you go to the Google local pack, there's 3, all from the same company, probably within 10 fucking blocks of one another. Ridiculous. Useless. That's why they'll get rid of them. The connection between Google Plus and local is not working. I see a scrapping of the whole thing because it's not working.
So some of the query spaces that Darren mentioned that they were disappearing were things like mold remover, DUI lawyers, DUI attorneys, real estate realtors, emergency plumber, and commercial stuff like painting, construction, remote modeling, etc. So, all anecdotal. Yeah. I believe what I read originally was I think Google was saying part of this movement is supposed to be a smoothing of the normal organic desktop results and the mobile results. Somewhat along the lines of how we saw the videos disappear, the authorship images disappear, which was also apparently to benefit mobile. So seems to be what they're
to unify the experience across all devices.
Right. At least that's the story.
Yeah, if I wanted to unify the experience, I wouldn't have more than one device, would I?
Yeah, that kind of assumes you use it for the same things for everything, every device.
Frank Watson is saying to try out dentists in NYC. All right. So I don't know, Frank. I got a bloody 7-pack to start things off here.
Hey, Dave, can I add in that on top of seeing these how the local packs were affected, all of a sudden, there's from what I've seen now that I've been doing more local for a year and a half, the local directories and the kind of the places like Craigslist and Kijiji and places like that, for me, they're my stiffest competition. Even more so than Yelp and places like that, because what I'm doing, if you've got 6 reviews, you're the big man in town, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but these guys are also been saying a lot of these directory type sites as Andrew.
Yeah,
So that's Yelp, and this, I guess, ZDoc is another one here.
yeah, but I would call Yelp less of a directory thing and more about the reviews, eh? Am I wrong in that?
No, yeah, I think it's just 6 of 1. It doesn't matter if someone defines a directory.
Yeah. Agree there that the two working together, right?
But yeah, I've heard lots of Yelp that's been running around.
But Yelp has been in and out of the SERPs for a while.
What is this?
There was a time when
Yelp was a big
I know
win
in the Canadian
last year. Yelp.
Sorry, Em.
So, what was that, Emma?
I was saying Yelp was a big winner in the SERPs last year. Anyway, when directories suddenly made a comeback, like it was 1996, Yelp and a few others were big winners then, and it looked like whatever helped them there has also been turned on into local.
Ranking like it's 1999. All right, yeah. So there you go, folks. What else we got in the comments? Okay, so Frank's also saying ZDoc wasn't there last week, and Yelp was not dominating the SERP. So, yeah, Frank, I don't know. That's like I said, that's what I've been hearing, lots of stuff like that. Okay, what do you got there, Ammon? Okay, yes, a few clients are affected, and yes, the listing is temporarily removed from the listing, and then you see error message Google Plus My Business. Most are removed for quality issues. Yeah, again, I don't do a shit ton of local, so not been affecting anything I'm working on, but a lot of people are pissed off apparently. Anyways, all right, and I think what else? I think Mike Blumenthal had a quick hit on this as well. Let's see what he was on about. And what was Mike saying? It's pretty much the same thing. 23% drop, blah, 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 blah. All right, so there you go, folks. I'm not a big local guy, so yeah, it's a slow news week, folks. Well, too bad Justin's not here. Apparently, Spain is now trying to do a Google tax.
Yep. They are going to follow in Germany's footsteps and require that Google pay all the newspapers for scraping their content and posting it in the search.
Good luck with that. From what I could tell, I don't know if it was this story they were talking about in there or if it was the German situation or whatever, but I think basically in the past they just dropped all the publishers and made them opt in, didn't they, Steve?
Google can't put that in the results. That'll be paid content. Can't put that in the results. It's paid content.
Yeah, but no, they just have to opt in. Well, I see what you're saying, though. You have to pay them. Yeah, come on.
It's paid content. They can't put that in the SERP. I hope they tell them, you know what? That's easily fixed, and just remove the newspapers from Google News and.
Well, that's what Google started doing. Instead of paying the tax, they dropped the newspapers and told them if you want in, you have to opt in, and there's certain conditions they have to agree to get around the law. Blah blah blah. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So, just block any site that uses the Spanish word for news and watch them crawl then.
Well, that would also affect a lot of South America, I would think.
Yeah, they can pay as well.
Everybody, all the news channels, welcome.
Line up with their hats in their hands. Here, collection time. Let's go.
It was a good idea, but I don't think it quite worked out for them, or for the Spanish government, obviously. But.
Yeah, I mean, basically, if the newspapers don't want their content online, stop publishing it online.
Yeah.
If you want to sell your newspaper, sell your newspaper.
Yeah, it's called Robots Tax, guys. Try it. You'll like it.
Well, even then, I mean, if it was something behind a paywall, Google wouldn't be grabbing it anyway.
Right.
Yeah. Well.
What it is they basically want, the best of both worlds. They want Google to pay them to include them, and then they get all the advertising revenue. Well, isn't that how things work?
Yeah, it's not even a new situation. I mean, this is what the New York Times went through years ago, when it used to be that their listings were in search, and then you click through, and you immediately got a thing asking you to subscribe.
Yeah, the paywalls.
And people came to an arrangement where you got a one-page view, you got a pass to read that one story. This is it. The New York Times had to adapt, or Google was going to kick them out of the search, because sending people to a paywall was not a good Google experience. And if that was all those years ago, you would have thought that other newspapers would have paid some attention back then.
Yeah, but eventually they did allow one view, right, for free.
Exactly.
Because they didn't see any up in subscription based on pissing people off by just showing an excerpt. That was Marshall Simmons who did that. Good friend of the show. Or a friend of mine, I guess you could say. I don't know about the show. Anyhow, moving on, Dave.
Moving on. All right, buddy. Yeah, it's a really horribly slow fucking news week, dude. I don't even know what to tell you. And I was scraping the bottom of the barrel looking for stuff. Like, really, look, here's what I came up with. Google testing, timeline view, and knowledge graph. I know, thrilling, huh? Yeah. Anyways, there's what it looks like, apparently. That's attractive looking, huh?
I like that.
You do you? Yeah, you're being sarcastic.
What's all the blurred out stuff at the top? Is that more links?
This is it. This is all the little timeline things, and you're supposed to hover over it. You get these little pop-ups like this. See?
Oh shit. Okay.
All right, and this is for the query Google. So I guess here's your core SERP, which has your timeline of, I guess, people and events and things, and then when you hover over them, you get little bits of information. Obviously, this is Google, so it talks about Google or Larry Page or what have you. Again, it's not fully in the wild yet. Just something a couple people have seen, so I couldn't really reproduce it. But yeah, I don't know. Looks like crap to me, but hey.
Does it work on mobile too, or are Google going to have to immediately scrap it because they're trying to make all the devices look the same?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't think that's mobile friendly, so they'll have to scrap it real soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of nasty looking. I don't know. I can't see this one sticking around, but we shall see.
They'll leave it long enough to see how people use it and whether there's added value to it, or
yeah, well, yeah, that's what the testing is, but and it's knowledge graph, Terry, so it must be hummingbird related, right?
No, how the fuck does a brand get into the fucking knowledge graph? They said themselves that's not supposed to happen. So how did this happen?
Yeah, well, I don't get the feeling. I just see lots of this running around. Just doesn't seem like it. Dan Manahan is with us today. He says no news is good news. So thanks. All right, everyone, have a great week. The show's over. It's all
the good news would be Penguin, because I need work.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's it. Man.
Just putting that out there, folks.
Okay, let's see. Dan Manahan's even feeding us stuff today, so okay, let's shift gears and see what Dan's sharing with us. It's Neil Patel, so we'll try and be nice. I don't know. I'll do my best. And Neil has, let's see, 7 lives. Okay, maybe something. 7 lives about SEO you probably believe. Okay, all right. We have not seen this, Dan, so thank you for the link. Lie number 1, it's good to let authority sites republish your content.
This is the week for 7s, because Eric Engie just posted, 7 myths as well.
Did he?
Yeah, after doing the show with Ray about misinformation and myths, he put up a blog post, which was the 7 myths of SEO. And now Neil's got a 7 as well.
Huh, there you go.
There's only 7 myths. That's sorry, I'm skeptical.
Top 7, was it?
Oh, top 7.
What happened to the days when everything was top 10 lists, man?
Okay. So they're needling it down some. We've gone from 10 to 7.
Well,
I
it
think
had
0
a,
is the number they should
Well,
all be.
yeah, they
it had
went
a
from
shot with Ray. She probably rented so long there was only time to cover 7.
yeah. That's right. It was Ray Hoffman. That's right. Yeah, I didn't actually catch that. I saved it though, so I got it for later. So the myth, lie number 1, that it's good to let authority sites republish your content. I don't know. Probably not a good idea, but I don't, as long as you've got it indexed first, I wouldn't, and you have a link back to the original,
I call it bullshit. I'm calling bullshit that you can get hit for Panda for having links from quality sites publishing your.
No. Again, many years ago when I talked to Matt about some stuff like this, he said basically make sure you've got it indexed on your site first, and B, make sure there's a link from the high authority site back to your original. And if you have those two things in place, there shouldn't be a problem.
Well, look at that particular tip or myth. At the end of it, he's actually got a link to a post where he talks about being hit by a penalty for doing that.
Yeah, I don't see that. No.
I'm skeptical.
Yeah, and they're calling it a panda too. Yeah, I don't buy that. I think you got other problems.
Yeah, I think so.
And from Kiss Metrics, we got hit by a penalty for this. Yeah. Not buying that one. Lie number 2: bad links will hurt your rankings. How is that a myth or a lie? I guess it depends how you define bad links, but.
He's basically saying every site has some. Move on. Well, SEO's everything to extreme, Dave. If one
because
incoming
one won't do it, it's okay to have 10 million. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's the old adage, SEOs take everything to extreme. So, if one good incoming link is good, well, a million's got to be perfect.
Oh.
Doesn't matter what site they come from, like that.
Exactly. Don't repeat that keyword once. Make sure you get it in there 1,000 times.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll make it even better.
Dan Manahan is saying that we should name this segment of the show the 7 myths of the 7 myths of SEO.
Yeah, the 7 myths.
Yes, of the 7 myths. Sounds like a sailor song here. So the more pages of content you have, the better. I don't think anyone's ever given that advice, though. Is there any sound human being that's ever said, more pages is better? Like, just whack them on there? Ehow and people like that got fucking panda whacked for just, creating page after page.
The thing is, Dave, there was a time when people said build links. I just said, fuck, I'll just add more pages to my website. It'll do the exact same thing. Sure enough, that worked up until about 2003. Then it kind of became less and less effective to where I found it not such a big deal. Then I found if you started cutting the right
I was going to say, yeah, you've had situations where you've removed stuff and got improvements.
Yeah, and what it comes down to is the quality of the content. Yeah. I actually thought some content was really bad, cut it all and saw the rankings go down. Put it back and it started working. Fixed the content, it worked even better. So, there's some merit to it, but it's all, subjective.
All right, number 4 is you shouldn't buy links.
Steve, do you think you should buy links?
Of course I do.
Just go buy them for SEO.
That's it.
Exactly.
Common sense.
Google love you to buy links. They're called AdWords.
Yeah.
All right, number 5, the higher your bounce rate, the lower your rankings. Wow, yeah. Well, again, that's just a horrible concept from the beginning of time. A/B split testing hurt your rankings. Of course, yeah, that's obviously not going to happen if you've done it right.
It can if
you don't set it up right.
Right.
Yeah, if it's not set up properly, for sure. Yeah. And number 7, Your best content should be published on your own site.
I so much don't believe that. That's something from, I would say, the past that is no longer. I want to be where the audience is. If they want to consume my stuff on Facebook or in G+, I have no problems with that.
Yeah, some of the best stuff I've ever written, I've published on many other sites because they're higher authority, and I'm going to get it out there further and build my own authority more. So yeah, for sure.
So you're agreeing with him there, Terry, because these are the things he said.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with him. Definitely, with that one's definitely a pile of crap. Yeah. I would definitely not go along with that one. All right, and there you go, Dan. We covered your 7 myths, and I don't know if we're just not lively enough today. I know I'm tired as shit, but yeah, I don't know. We just read too many myths in our lifetime, I think, boys. That's just too many. William Rock had a post there.
Too many ads above the fold. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Be sure to end in the contextual space. Put lots of ads there. It's okay. Not a problem.
Is that a mobile fold, a tablet fold, or a PC fold?
Yeah, or 8 by 600, or 16 by.
Lots more about the fold is pretty near, depends. Right, but.
All right.
Depends which way up you're holding your tablet.
I go by lowest common denominator, and now what you see on the desktop with the way that responsive and all the pictures get reduced and anything and everything, I think it is the same content above the fold on a device as it is on desktop. If it's working properly.
Frank Watson said you shouldn't get caught buying links. Yeah. He's got it going on. Don't worry, Rick. All right, so this one came to us from, sorry, who was it there?
Yep. William Rock.
William Rock, yeah, okay. Google's punitive algorithm, Penguin, a call to Google to fix it. Oh, okay, curious. History of Penguin, okay, all right. No!
This is obviously the new Penguin, the Ninja Penguin.
Yes. Oi, Neo, a Ninja Penguin, son. Oh.
It's been trained at the Dojo.
Oh, yeah, it's very appropriate. We should have that, steal that graphic. Why is Google Penguin this way? Data refreshes make it easier to turn and burn. They're frustrated and angry after a long time. Spammers. No. Okay, what is Eric's point here? Eric, man, where are you? Okay, he likes penguins. Okay, that's great. For me, the sad part is that penguins are some of my favorite animals. Okay, that's okay. So he's traumatized a bit.
The thing is, right, I don't like when I read people in this industry that are supposed to be leaders saying that those links were built by bad SEO agencies, when in fact, most of them built those links when, as Steve would say, it was a perfectly legitimate technique. So what he's doing is saying, if you weren't like me and Dave and basically have a crystal ball, you were a spammer. I don't agree with that. People, I think there's a lot of pressure on people and to perform. I never let that pressure make me do things that I didn't think, but I do understand why people do it. So I don't call them, make these, I don't like to call that because someone got hit by Penguin, that it was necessarily the SEO's fault. I think it's blame on both sides, usually. If your content was better, they would not have to promote you in the crappiest places on the internet. That's a good place to start the conversation.
You know, a couple of years ago, it was not unusual for a client to come to you asking to buy links. What they wanted was links. They weren't coming to you for good SEO. They were actually just coming asking for links. And if the SEO has provided it in that situation, do you know what? The SEO is right. It's the company that was blinkered.
Yeah, but basically our industry at that time, you ask anybody, I got a problem with my website. What was the fucking solution?
Links.
Got more links. Well,
Terry, we've only got 1.5 mil. Could you get us a couple more?
Yeah. I got 5 million links. I need more. Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
I remember.
Like I need a second asshole. You need more.
So yeah, I'm not even sure what Eric's on. I'll have to read the story about William, but I haven't really spent some time. And since I know Eric's a friend of mine, I won't beat him up at this point till I've actually had time to read it. So.
I've been venturing into new territory. He did a post on Hummingbird last week that Bill
I think we covered them.
And I definitely had some issues with that content.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, we tried to get Bill on the Regulators last week.
Yeah, he was even comment.
You declined our offer. But, yeah, that's good, though, you know what I mean, that we can agree to disagree in the industry. I don't mind that, you know what I mean? Last week, we're having issues with something Eric wrote. This week he's inviting us on a hangout. You know, we can still be friends and disagree, and I think that's, at least it highlights that, which is cool.
Well, he was partially,
no, yeah, he had some parts that I agreed with and some parts that I didn't.
Parts of it that I kind of said, yeah, that makes sense. But some of it was just didn't jibe with what I was seeing. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and sometimes it's one of those things where they're oversimplifying something, trying to get it across to their audience or a particular audience they want to reach. And yeah, we're seeing it as SEOs. No, that's wrong. But somebody who's not an SEO, it's probably a good enough approximation to get them in trouble. Now, to give them an idea of what they need to be doing, at least talking to a professional SEO about.
Yeah, that's one of the advantages, though, like on a show like this, right? Dave and I believe that you should put schema on every website you can, just because you can, and it's an easy, not a lot of money to do it. I believe it is an added value. Dave is not so much a believer in it, let's put it that way, because he believes they can extract that.
Well, that is the whole point. I mean, schema is just giving them a marked up data set to learn how to extract it from all the people who didn't bother doing what you did. So congratulations, Terry, you're doing all Dave's work for him.
Right, but at some point, I think that is gaining me some value. I can't say for sure, but to me, for what it costs and doing it, I know for sure.
Google has been really good over the years about rewarding the people who did all the work and not giving it to everybody. No,
well,
you're doing all the work. For now,
if that was the case, I wouldn't be sitting here right now if I felt like that.
Well, you just got to look at stuff like anytime you see a forum result in Google somewhere, you know what I mean? It comes back as structured-looking data with the forum results and these posts, but there's obviously no semantic markup on those. So, as always, my perspective, as Terry was saying, is that I think Google's still looking for ways around it because implementation wasn't, really picked up the way the adoption wasn't as high as they'd like. So they're still constantly looking for other ways to get at, various types of table data and things like that. So.
Yeah, but Google actually had patents and stuff, as you know, on how to create them structures out of data itself before they even took on schema. So, I think
so they've been looking at it for a while.
Yeah, that's the thing. I just believe that I'll make it really easy for them. Just like I could write a half-assed title and it still might work, but if I write a really good title and spend some time on it, good chance it'll work a little better. That's all. That's how I kind of see it.
Yeah, I'm kind of in two minds about it because one of the things I like to do is make that code as lean as possible. And if the user isn't getting anything out of schema on that page, I'm making them download extra bytes of data that isn't helping them. And yeah, okay, it's helping train Google. Do you know what? Google can pay for its own training. There's no reason that my customers should have to pay in time and bandwidth to train Google.
Well, and that was always one of my biggest complaints with schema going, when we first started seeing it, was the amount of money consultants were charging clients to get their websites completely schema and micro format tagged and all this other crap when there was no value in it for the customer or the web viewer or anybody. The only person that got any value out of it was Google.
And the guy doing the job, because he was
the guy doing the work. And that became, a big sticking point where we used to argue quite a bit about, people would say, well, you just don't want to learn it. You don't want to know. It's like, no, I understand it completely. I'm very comfortable with it. I just see no real value. And when I do see a value for a customer, then we'll do it. And that happened early on when recipes started taking off. We started sticking some of that schema in there for recipes and did really well against people who didn't. But now here we are 2 or 3 years down the road, and the people who didn't bother have caught up simply because Google used the work we did to train their algorithms, which is fine. Yeah. We did gain some advantage on that for a while, but it was tangible. It was something we could point to and say, yes, this works.
Exactly. At the end of the day, we are talking about the same company that had the authorship snippets, oh look, here's your picture and here's your little byline, and we'll show that, look, so that they got lots of people to put that data in, and once they've reached a tipping point where most people have got that data, bang, there goes the benefit.
Yeah.
I disagree. When we talked to the guy from, Dave, remember, we interviewed the guy who had the big store, and he said that he had
Target, wasn't it? Wasn't it Target?
No, it wasn't Target. It was maybe Best Buy.
Best Buy. Yeah, it was Best Buy. Yeah, you're right.
They put micro formats on their whole site. It increased indexing access.
Yeah, I remember that too.
And visibility.
It wasn't just, you can't say micro formats did that, because they had an entire site redesign, a whole navigation restructured, plus micro formats all at the same time. So who knows what really helped? I'm leaning more towards the new navigation is what solved their problem, not adding micro formats.
Yeah.
I remember that, because that was the biggest issue, was trying to get them to separate out and say, okay, yeah, well, what piece of what you did actually worked? You don't know because you did it all at the same time.
Yeah. Makes it tough to isolate the benefit. Well, again, it's with any SEO. I hate bulk changes. Don't go out and do like 10 things at one time, because then you don't know what's working, what doesn't. Piecemeal it.
One at a time. One at a time. Do it. Look. Do it. Look.
Frank's in the Q&A. Frank's in the Q&A. Ammon saying, "Come on, Ammon. We're always training Google, and their demand with their demand for tagging like canonical authorship, etc., etc., etc."
Oh, exactly.
That's one of Steve's favorite ones, is Google tells us to have faster web pages, but they keep telling us more shit to put in them, in the code.
Exactly, and I've been complaining about that all along. I hate the idea of adding no follow, which benefits nobody but Google. Screw you, Google.
Build your web pages for users. Yeah, unless, of course, we need that information to make our algorithms work better. Then build it for us.
Yeah. Don't build for the search engines. That means do not put no follow on your site unless you absolutely have to. And call Google out on that kind of bullshit every single time.
Well, remember when no follow was supposed to be just for spam?
Yeah. When you didn't trust, you didn't trust where you were linking to was the original. Then they added, I think, paid links into that after that.
Well, I mean, it was almost sold as, look, sometimes we want to talk about a scam, and we want to be able to link to it without
lying.
Saying, oh yeah, we've got this tag for this. Yeah, the link condom.
That's where it started. Yeah, link condoms. I remember that. All right, well, we got like 8 minutes here, so let's see. We'll have to give a little love out to Mr. Wow. What is Jim Hedger's post this week? We'll give it some love. I don't know. Because it's about us. Yeah, we're a little self-serving here
Yeah,
today,
those
folks.
people who kept asking, it was a dojo, but it's a secret, so I couldn't really answer your question where it was going on. So sorry about that, folks.
Yeah, I talked to...
You're doing it wrong, guys. It's supposed to be send us $20 through this link, and we'll tell you which forum it was.
That's it.
Send us 200, and we'll send you an invite.
No, I appreciate the fact that Jim was trying to use discretion and stuff, and he had showed me this article last week before he published it, and I said, yeah, it looks fine, whatever. But as I said to him, I said, the fact our groups exist doesn't need to be a secret. It's just what we talk about and who says what that doesn't leave the room. You know, the fact they exist, well, that's pretty common knowledge, and that's, you know, very well, reasonably, and you know, we're not exactly hiding out building, you know, nuclear bombs or anything, but...
Exactly. They're underground groups, but, you know, not in the terms of, you know, secret villains' lairs. Moon bases.
Cells everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Kingston.
So, yeah.
The Freemasons of SEO.
So,
You get
much...
that one, Dave? We have
no.
cells everywhere. Kingston, Memico.
Yeah, definitely we have cells there. Sorry, folks, those are prisons here in Ontario. So they definitely got cells. But yeah, I guess, folks, yeah, he was just talking about the, you know, these. But I think these kind of groups have always existed. It was you guys back in, you know, I wasn't doing this stuff with you guys back in the mid '90s, late '90s, and you guys had mailing lists and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
The groups often, what it was, it would be, you know, they'd often be one-to-ones on Skype rather than set groups. Sometimes there were small private forums. You know, Syndicate was one of the larger ones, of course, that was purely dedicated to Black Hat. But yeah, you know, there's always been something. There's always been some way of SEOs talking to other people who know the game, so that we're not just teaching those offshore idiots better language to use and still not understand. Because that was always the risk, is that anything we put out a great article about or a good explanation of, they copy and paste it. They don't understand a word of it, but they were using it to comment.
Well, and then in some instances you were educating Google, you know, to what you were doing, which didn't make much sense, really, did it? What was it? Digital Point that had just reams and reams of pages about link exchanges and buying and selling in people's domains. Oh, yeah. Like Digital Point had it right out there. We didn't take a genius from Google to come along and scrape that fucking section. I remember it was a spam patent that came out from Bing that was literally about going through forums and looking for fucking link exchanges and conversations like that.
Which, I mean, that really does go back as well, right back to the Buddy Links Cooperative. Anyone remember that? Brett Tabke's Buddy Links?
Rings a bell, but I don't remember it.
Yeah, it was basically a link exchange.
Or even something as simple as comment love.
Yeah.
How about rings?
Web rings were lost.
Web rings, man, they were the thing.
Pre-search.
But yeah,
well, they were great up until Yahoo bought them.
And I guess, yeah, there is something to be said for it, that there's always been these kind of groups, and it's always where a lot of the things that I think I've learned are probably coming from. You know, I'm not really learning a lot from blog posts in the last 5, 6, 7 years. You know, I'm not seeing, it's not where my education's coming from. A lot of my education's coming hands-on, and otherwise, like you're saying, you know, I'll track people down on Skype. You know, like yesterday when I was talking to Andrew, he had tracked me down. He was like, oh, I had some questions about some stuff, and he'll track me down. Or if I'm looking for something, maybe like, you know, HT access stuff, I'll track Wissam down, or by, you know, et cetera, et cetera. We just have a network, and sure, I think a lot of the things that we learn and express and exchange do happen behind closed doors, but I think it's just the nature of it.
Yeah, it's an extension of the thing that you and I have talked about a few times, the Rolodex.
Yeah.
We have certain places that are venues. It's like saying, I'll meet you at the usual pub to talk about the particular thing. It's an extension of that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, there we go, folks. We survived an hour with some really useless news. Oh, God. Well, it was fun. Friday, let's see, Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, SEO Friday chat. We'll be looking at, I guess, all things Google Quality Rater Guide and related to that. Tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, I believe it is, Ammon, I guess, is the one with Bill and Ammon and myself and the boys from Stone Temple. It'll be another hangout there. And what are you guys doing next Tuesday?
We've got a bit of a special one. We've got one on, it's deep. It's core value alignment in business networking.
Good Lord. Okay. What is that in English, man? What is that in English?
It's getting into the psychology of understanding what you want to get out of things and understanding people's personality types and how different people will react differently to the same kind of information you're presenting. So it's about how to get around that, to understand that some people need that data, other people need the fluffy, feel-good stuff, and how to do it all while being true to yourself.
Very nice. All right, and that's Tuesday, I believe, 3 p.m.?
3 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Pacific.
Okay. There you go. So, and that is the Isusi guys, so just ISOOSI? Yeah. Just search out on Google Plus, folks. You'll find them, and you'll see the events all over the place. Follow them and catch them in there. And that's about it, gentlemen. Pleasure as always. Thank you for watching and listening, everyone. Gentlemen, thanks for coming by.
Have a good week, everybody.
Yep, go make lots of money.